Hello Internet, my name is Hazel from Hazelnutty Games, and this is how I beat heroic Anub'rekhan using a random priest deck that I threw together. I'll put the deck list in the description if you want to try it out for yourself. I've got a weird feeling that I got kinda lucky, so your mileage may vary. The biggest weakness that I've found with this encounter is that for all of his disgusting board flooding, he doesn't really have hard removal. He also tends to prefer hitting you in the face over board control, so I just filled the deck with the grossest priest combos I could think of. Note that there is a Velen in this deck just because I have him and he's pretty and I throw him in all my priest decks, but he doesn't really help too much, so don't freak out if you don't have one. However, he is a nice possibility for Anub'rekhan to summon with that death rattle minion he has, so it works alright. Alright. So, the thing about heroic Nax is that the bosses have disgusting abilities. This 4/4 for 2 mana kills me. But AI ain't so hot. You can see here he's going to give me actually 2 card draw just from hitting my Northshire Cleric with a minion that can't kill it. And I'm alright with that. So on this turn here, you can see that I think about Circle of Healing to get 2 card draw from healing up his minion as well as my own. Eventually I do decide just to heal my own minion to keep him at 1 health. And there we go. I did put Mind Vision, Thoughtsteal, and Mindgames into this deck because, you know, if he's gonna use some really broken cards, I deserve to play with him too. That's generally how my thought went. We also have a pair of Mass Dispels, which doesn't do too well for you against Death Lords, but Shade of Naxxramas can get really out of hand here, and that will pop him right back down to a useless 2/2. So, one of the neat things that I found about the way he doesn't like doing board control is that he will almost never hit a Lightwell. In a previous time that I tried this deck, he did use his Crazed Alchemist to kill it, but aside from that, he'll usually just leave them up and let them heal you indefinitely, so they're actually a really good target for comboing into something disgusting, because they already have the health, they're going to heal you forever, and he doesn't really mind them until they become really big. So, there we are. Turn 5, and those are nice, especially if you can get 2 on the board to help mitigate all of the damage he's doing to your face until you can get all of your combos together. So here we turn it into a beautiful 10/10, which you can then use to quite easily take out something like that. We get an Argus, which isn't great, but you know, what are you gonna do? It's a body. I have a pair of Argus in here to take advantage of basically just the buffing and taunt. Taunt can really slow him down. Throwing those between Lightspawns, Velens, Gurubashi, Lightwells, you know, whatever. Works pretty good if they can stick around. Another thing I found over fighting this boss over a remarkable numbers of hours is that he does like flooding the board, so if he ends up with a board flooded with a lot of little things that aren't that dangerous, it can sometimes be in your best interest to leave them up so that he can't fill the board with more 4/4s. Those spiders are actually really good with that. If you can avoid AoEing them down and just leave them on the board, he'll just ping you with them forever and never ever play another 4/4, so it's usually not too bad, but you know, Holy Nova was just too tempting. Shade of Nax can get kind of out of hand. That's where Mass Dispel comes in really handy, in addition to giving you a card draw, which is nice. But in this case, he decides to trade it against my beastly Lightwell. He will occasionally clear the board if he thinks something's threatening enough, but it has to get pretty bad. He usually won't touch a Lightwell unless it's buffed up. So in this case, the temptation to use his own Locust Swarm against him was just too tempting. That is a nice board visual. The nice thing about this priest deck is it can get its damage out fairly quickly, so that he doesn't have a chance to build up too much of a board state, and you've got a bit of control to maintain things with as well. So we finally got our Divine Spirit, so it's time to Lightspawn. There's that. Heal up a little bit, why don't you? I will warn you, this game is very, very close. This deck is not an end-all by any means. I did have to try this a couple times to get my win, but if you consider how many decks I tried and had them not work, I'm actually pretty happy with it. So we do pull our Velen, and Circle of Healing is actually a good spot here because it's not going to heal any of his minions. And I don't find that you build up too many minions on the board here, so having just a free heal for your guy is not too bad. It would be better if I had a Northshire Cleric, of course, but what are you gonna do? In this case, I decided to go for the Velen, and then I can heal it for 4 myself. I decided to heal myself for 4, and then use the free circle for 8. Not that it matters, but you know, flare. Hit him for another 10.
Just a little.
And he'll trade for the Velen, which is alright. Keeps his threat down a little bit. You don't want to let him build up too much, because if he has lethal, he will take it. And here we are. Getting a little close here. It's alright. We can heal him back up, draw a very lucky power word shield, which draws me another very lucky power word shield. You can't argue with that. Maexxna is one of my favorites, especially if you can buff her with Defender of Argus. Having a 3/9 basically is what that turns into. A 3/9 taunt that kills anything it touches is just beautiful, especially considering the way he'll trade whatever. Works out quite nicely. I love it when he hits with Deathlords first. He's strong, but he ain't so smart. And there's the full board. So you can see it gets a little tight, getting a little nervous. Nothing to worry about. But he doesn't have taunt, and we have lethal. So there you go. That's it. It's what I did with my morning. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it works for somebody else if anybody decides to try it. I don't know if it will, but you know, it's worth a shot. And yeah, so the deck list is in the description. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna try and do videos like this for the other 2 heroic Nax bosses, but of course I have to beat them first. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye!